Hey everyone, it's Andrew Brown, and we are continuing on working with S3, still working with common operations. We did bash scripting. We just worked with the CLI in general and learned the differences between them, did some ClickOps. I want to do a bit of PowerShell scripting, similar to bash scripting. We're not going to do a lot of it because it's not a huge focus for AWS. When you're using Azure, it comes up a lot, but I just don't want you to catch you off guard and not have any PowerShell experience, so we're going to do a little bit here. I really don't like PowerShell that much, but Bako loves it. The other Andrew who works here at ExamPro. But we'll go ahead and open up Git pod, and we'll figure it out. So, of course, it's a lot easier if you're using Azure because they have the shell already built in here. But there should be some way for us to get PowerShell. I imagine there has to be some way. But let's just type in PS or PowerShell. Let's go figure it out. So AWS PowerShell, Linux. I'm sure you can use it with Linux. Is it already pre-installed on Gitpod? I'm not sure. But the trick with PowerShell, it takes like forever to install. So here we go. Start a PowerShell core session by running the following. Let's see if we already have this. And hit enter. That'd be really nice if it was already here. No, it is not. To install the AWS tools on Linux, I'm going to look up Gitpod PowerShell. It seems like they have a workspace for it already, so I'm just going to take a look at what they're doing to utilize it. I'm going to look in their Gitpod YAML file. Nothing interesting there. They have a Docker file here. Ubuntu. So I'm looking for PowerShell. PWSH. So we'll just like install PowerShell for Ubuntu or Debian. It's very similar to what we're using here. And let's go figure it out for fun. Not that fun, but let's see if we can do it. Again, you know, if you don't have that much interest in PowerShell and you just want to watch, go ahead and watch here and just kind of observe, because again, this is just painful, to be honest. But I just want you to get that experience, okay? Or get that exposure to PowerShell. So I'm going to go through, I'm just going to follow through the lines here, and we're going to see if we can get any PowerShell to work. We have a Debian package, so that should work with Ubuntu because they use the same package manager. So it looks like we're adding the Microsoft Package Manager in order to install that package. And now we're registering the package. So it looks good. We're going to go ahead and remove the package now that we're done with it. We're going to go ahead and do another sudo apt-get update. And then we're going to go here and install PowerShell. And if that works, then I'll make some instructions here so we can save ourselves some trouble. Good. And now can we start PowerShell? Great. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Gitpod YAML file. And I don't really need PowerShell, but I'm just going to write it in here. Yeah, I guess I'll install it every time. Why not? Who cares? I might as well do it. And we're going to go grab these here. Again, if you're watching another video, it might already be in here. I'm going to go grab this link so people know where it is. Okay. Should probably do that for the AWS CLI at the same time as I'm here. AWS CLI install. Here we go. We'll grab that. So if folks are coming in late, they're trying to figure this out. But I'm just going to bring in these commands in here. Just copy all of this stuff for the most part, and we'll paste this in. And then we'll pare it down. So I don't need to start PowerShell. That's totally fine. I'm just going to go and get this prepped for next time. There we go. Beautiful PowerShell, which you always dreamed of. Okay, so we now actually have the PowerShell terminal open. So if you're on Windows, you probably have PowerShell. I always forget if it's installed by default or if it's a special one. But there's like a special PowerShell window, and it's blue, and allows you to run PowerShell commands. And so we technically have PowerShell running now. And as far as I remember, PowerShell has commandlets. And so we have to install the plugin or commandlet to work with AWS. So we're going to go over to the AWS tools for PowerShell. And it says to install AWS tools for PowerShell, you can choose from 2 packages. We have the modular version of AWS tools. Each AWS service is supported by its own individual small module. Or NetCore, the single large module version of AWS tools. AWS services are supported by this single large module. Which should we use? I don't know. But I think that we'll go with the first one because modular sounds a bit better and maybe we can just install what we need. So to run the AWS tools for PowerShell Core, your computer must be running PowerShell Core 6.0. We're on 7, so we're in good shape. And install the AWS tools using commandlets in AWS Tools Installer. So that's something we want to do. So we'll go ahead and install a module. So PowerShell like has this convention of how everything's named. It always starts with title case and this particular kind of format. We'll go ahead and copy this. It's for like a more PowerShell video. We'll hit enter. And so that's going to install it. You're installing the modules from an untrusted repository. Yes to all. I think it'll be okay. We're trusting AWS here. And so now it's installed. That was really fast. When you install Azure's tools, it takes forever. Now you can, well, I guess the thing is we're not installing everything. We're going to just install the base thing and then install what we want. So it says you can now install the module for each service that you want to use. So that sounds good. I mean, I'm going to just grab this for later. So I don't have to keep looking this up. This is obviously not going to work here. And the other thing I'm not going to remember is the PowerShell command, which is this. This one here. And so I'll go here, and I'll also just go ahead and grab this as well. So I don't have to constantly look for it. There we go. We'll paste that in. Nice, 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 nice. And so we'll go back over here. And so it looks like we need to install very specific tools. So here we just want S3. I'm going to grab this here. I don't want all of it, but I want some of it. And so I'll be very careful. And we'll take out EC2 because we're not working with EC2 right now. We'll hit enter. And we'll say A for all to install that. And so now we'll have the install AWS tools module. And so now we can execute PowerShell commands. And if we want to do some of the same operations, somewhere there's documentation, we probably want to do script execution. Command is available on non-Windows systems. You can run get execution policy, which shows the default execution policy, etc. Okay. So that's great. Now, can we get references for PowerShell here? I'm zoomed in. That's why it's been a big old mess here. So let's go click into the tools. And I'm looking for the documentation. So we'll say AWS tools PowerShell documentation, which is over here. And we're looking for the reference guide. That's what we're really looking for here. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to bring this into our information here so I can find it later. Good. I always tell people to document as much as they can. I'm doing it very lightly here because you need to make your own notes, but just understand that. So on the left-hand side, we have all of our services. I'm going to look for S3. And in here, we have S3. And we have all of our fun commands. So maybe we can go ahead and try to create a bucket here. Create bucket. So here it's new S3 bucket. So notice that it's not following the same conventions in terms of what the APIs are named. And again, this has to do with how PowerShell conventions of naming things work. And so that's why they're different. It's called new S3 bucket. So we'll click into here and we should get some documentation. One thing I really like about PowerShell is it always autocompletes. So we should get that experience while we're typing here. New. Well, it's not doing it here. In the Azure CLI, it would absolutely do that. It'd be really nice. S3 bucket. Why am I not getting nice autocompletion? We'll say PowerShell autocomplete I want to see that. It's so nice. I'm looking for it here. To enable this feature in your PowerShell sessions, it has to load every time you open PowerShell. This will open up the profile you can edit. This is what we're looking for, autocomplete in PowerShell. So maybe we can copy this in here and see if we can get that. It'd be really nice to have autocomplete. Nope, we're not getting it. Okay, that's fine. Sorry. I did the best I could here. Type in clear here, and we'll just start again here. So we'll say new bucket. It's really nice when it autocompletes, and again, that's the experience that we normally get here. Autocomplete. Do we get any autocomplete? Nope, 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 nope. Okay, so we'll go back over to here, and so we have new S3 bucket. I really don't want to do too much in PowerShell, not as much as we were doing in Bash, that's for sure. And so we need to have a bucket name. Okay, and this will be my PowerShell bucket, AB, and we'll just put some numbers there. I remember it wanted the location last time. Not really seeing here. We'll just let it create in US East 1, and we'll see if that works. We'll hit enter. And we're just waiting to see what happens. Oh, you know what? I think we need to give it 2 flags. Nope, just 1 actually, sorry. I thought it needed double hyphen. Sometimes like when things go wrong, I find PowerShell hangs, so I'm gonna wait a little bit while and be back here in just a second, okay? All right, it's back. It took a long time, but we got back our PowerShell, and so it says that it created the bucket, so that's really good. Let's go see if we can put an object. It'd be nice to put these in scripts. Let's see if we can make a script. Just give me 2 seconds, okay? All right, so I got a bit more familiar with PowerShell again. Again, I don't write it all the time, so Baker knows it off the top of his head. But anyway, I'm gonna make a new folder here. We're gonna say new folder, and I'll just say PowerShell scripts, and apparently the way these work is this will just be like S3, and we'll say PS1. That is the name for a PowerShell script. Why, I don't know. Notice that we have this nice little highlighting thing here. I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of PowerShell extension for VS Code, as I imagine that this is something that's really useful. If we go over here, develop PowerShell modules, commands, and stuff like that, the extension provides a rich PowerShell language support, syntax highlighting, advanced code snippets, IntelliSense, PowerShell. That sounds really good to me. Let's go ahead and install that. Make our life a little bit easier, I would say. Down below here, we'll type exit. And now that this extension is installed, we can go over here to PowerShell. And so the thing that we're going to want to do is install our module. That'll probably be the first thing we'll want to do. So unlike Bash, we can kind of chain scripts together, but PowerShell kind of has more of like a programming thing going on here where you can just start saying what you want. So we'll say AWS tools S3, and we're going to need to set an environment variable. So we'll just specify what region we want this to be in. I'm going to just use US East 1 to make our life a lot easier. And we're going to need a bucket name. Now we want to input this bucket from the user. I can't remember how to do that, so just give me 2 seconds. Yeah, so there's a special commandlet called read host. I think it's built into PowerShell, so we can just start using it, and that will allow us to enter in a prompt. So we'll just say prompt, and we'll say enter the S3 bucket name. Okay, and so we have that. Probably be nice if we could print or echo stuff out. I don't remember how to print. Just give me 2 seconds, okay? All right, so I think there's like more than one way to do it. So I'm just going to do it the way that I know how to do it, and people don't like it. Well, that's their problem. We'll go ahead and type in write host. And so what I want to do here is I want to provide that bucket name. So we'll just say bucket name here, and I'll go ahead and just say S3 bucket here. And I'll just go above here. We'll just also say AWS region. Let's see our region. So that is fine. And so those two are now set. Let's go ahead and write that S3 file. So we can type in new S3 bucket, and then we'll specify the bucket name. So I wanted this autocomplete when we're writing it down here, but for whatever reason, it wasn't working. So of course, there must be some way to turn it on. We'll also specify the region. And so I'm hoping that this will create that bucket. Now, we did create one just a moment ago. So I'm going to make my way over to AWS, and we'll delete the one that was created recently. I don't really remember what was most recently created. I guess we could just use our scripts, as we do have other scripts here. I thought we exited out of this. Control C, Q, quit. The term quit is not recognized. How the heck do we exit? Exit. Exit. 2 seconds. You know what? I think I'm overthinking it because it's open over here, so maybe we don't have to worry about it too much. I'm going to go ahead and just close that there. And yeah, it's complaining, saying, hey, you terminate it. I don't care. What I want to do is go ahead and use our previous scripts to figure out what the last, the latest ones we made. So we'll just say list buckets here. And so we have that PowerShell bucket. And I want to go ahead and just delete that bucket. So I'll just go ahead and do that quickly. Bucket. We'll say my PowerShell bucket. It looks like I didn't delete one from there before, so I can probably go ahead and use my script right now and clean that up. Okay. Good. Oh, it says that one doesn't exist. It has a 2 on it. There we go. So now we have no buckets there, and so we can go ahead and run the script. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back and, well, before we do that, let's make sure that file's executable. So we'll do S3 and we'll say PowerShell scripts, and then we'll choose that, and I'll type in clear. And so that is now executable. We'll start up PowerShell again here. Hopefully it doesn't complain. We'll do pwd. Now, those aren't actually the native commands for PowerShell. I'm pretty sure they are something like get location will get you the same thing. But of course, when people are working with Linux, they're used to those commands, so they give you all the variations. So if it's pwd or dir, which people are used to older stuff, you have more flexibility there. But these, of course, are not necessarily the native commands. So like, for instance, ls or dir or get child item. So you can see that there is some similarities and things that are different. But anyway, what I'm looking for is I want to execute this script. So I'm going to do period S3, and then we're going to do bash scripts. And, oh, not bash scripts, PowerShell. That's what we're doing here today. PowerShell scripts, and we'll do S3 PS1, and hopefully this works. It's asking us what do we want the bucket name to be. So let's say my PowerShell AB, and then I'll just put some random numbers in here, and then hopefully it creates. Notice it was super fast this time. Maybe because the first time it ran, it had to install something or something, I don't know. But it says that it created it, so that's really good. We can continue on with our script here. So we've created our bucket. It might be great if we've already printed out the bucket name, so that's fine. Maybe we could go ahead and create a file. So let's create a new file. So we'll have file name, and we'll say my file name, myfile.txt, and then we'll have the file contents. We'll say hello world. And so yeah, I remember some PowerShell. Set content path, file name, and then there's, I believe it's like value. There's path, and it's something like, yeah, it's value. Value, file content. So, that should set that there. And so now what we can do is go ahead and write to the bucket. So if we go back over to our documentation, wherever that was, here, there should be one for writing or putting or something. So go back. The reason I say write is because, again, it's based on convention in terms of names, and I have a feeling that's what it's called. And it is, I believe it would be write S3 object here. So this looks very similar to our put. So we'll go back over here and start writing that. So we'll do write S3 object, and we'll do bucket name. And so then we'll put the bucket name here, and then we'll have the file, our file, and this will say file name. We'll have our key, and then we'll make this also the file name because we're not doing anything fancy here. We might as well just keep it simple here. I don't know if we need anything else. I think that's about it for that. So let's go ahead and try this again. Now we already have a bucket. I wonder if there's like a way of doing conditionals here. Let me figure that out. All right, so I looked it up, and what we can do is we can create a function, and that's probably the best way to do it. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and create ourselves a new function. We'll just say bucket exists. Okay, and from there, what we'll do is we'll first get a bucket to see if it already exists first. So say get S3 bucket, and we'll just provide its bucket name. And we have to provide, I believe, an error action. So we probably want this to, look this up, error action, silent, continue. That's probably what we want. If PowerShell script halts or a portion of the code does not work, what action do you want to happen? So the idea is that we just want it to silently fail. I think that's probably the best option. Again, we're not getting really into the depths here of PowerShell, just trying to get a PowerShell script working and get kind of comfortable writing some. And so then we'll just specify what this here to return the bucket. Otherwise, we'll get null. So I guess the next thing here would be to actually check now. So for our thing here, we'll say if not, and then we'll say bucket exists. Okay, then do this. Otherwise, do that. And so if the bucket doesn't exist, do that. So down here, if it does exist, we'll just say bucket already exists. I'll go up here. Bucket does not exist. If that's the case, then it'll just skip that step. So hopefully that will work as expected. We'll go ahead and hit up. And I'll just, I already forgot the bucket name, but it's my PowerShell AB 6436. The term get bucket, I think I forgot the hyphen there. Yeah, that's why I wasn't highlighting properly. Let's try this one more time. And we'll go down here. And I'm not sure how to get that out of there, as it's complaining quite bad. So sometimes that happens. We'll just close that out, and I'll open up this here, and we'll try this in PowerShell. Whoops. Oh, this one's done too. There we go. Now it's back. PowerShell, and yeah, we'll go back to. And I don't remember what we named that bucket, so we'll go back over here. It was like PowerShell or something. PowerShell. AB542. Okay. We called this my PowerShell bucket. My PowerShell bucket AB 542. AB 524. 524, not even saying the right numbers here. We'll hit enter. And fingers crossed, fingers crossed. It's thinking, so that's usually good. But yeah, again, I don't know why there's lag with PowerShell. I have no idea. Baco probably knows. But I'll just be back. I'll pause so we don't have to wait here forever, okay? That was really slow, and now we're waiting for the next step. Oh, while I was waiting there, I was asking Baco, why is PowerShell so slow? And he tells me it's because of .NET, because it has to stand up and tear down stuff. It sounds awful, but that's what it is. So here it looks like it created the bucket. Did it actually write our file? I don't know. I didn't see anything for that. So we'll go back over here. Fingers crossed that we have a file. We do have a file, and so I would call that nearly successful. We didn't actually write the contents of the file. So I'm going to go back here. And we'll save that. And we'll try it one more time, okay? So I'm going to try this one more time. And we'll put that name in again. And then we'll call that good enough for using PowerShell. So hit enter. I'll see you back here in a bit, okay? All right, so waiting a little while there. It looks like our file is probably in here now. And it is. We're in good shape. We are all done here. I don't even care about deleting the bucket. That's how tired I am of PowerShell. I'm going to go ahead and delete this file. I don't really want this file to be right there. I just created it in place. Probably should have told it to created in the temp directory, but that's okay. We'll go ahead here and just add these files. And we'll just say PowerShell scripting. And you can't say I didn't show you PowerShell. Yeah, for AWS. But again, not going to happen very often, but get some exposure to it, and that should be sufficient there. Just stop my workspace, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.